excited to bring to you today Taetrece Harrison, the author of Bitch Hunt. Yes, I said the title correctly. Bitch Hunt is the name of the book, and we're going to hear all about it after this commercial. Taetrece, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing great. And I am very excited that you are here on the Author's Lounge and that we are going to talk about your book and how the book came about, your experiences with the book. So before we do any of that, I do want to say that Taetrece is presently a lawyer, and that's where this information for the book is stemmed from. So she's going to take us inside the life of a lawyer and things that actually happened during that time. So tell us first about you.
So I'm Taetrece Harrison. I'm from New Orleans, born and raised. I had the opportunity to live a lot of different places, but finally made my way back home in 2008. So I've been back home ever since then. Became an attorney in 2006 and been practicing about 14, 15 years. I kind of lost count, but been practicing a long time.
And so, Taetrece, what do you do when you're not in the courtroom?
So when I'm not in the courtroom, I'm either enjoying some festivities. New Orleans always has something going on, Second Line, a festival, or some kind of live local bands playing. Or either I'm trying to write poetry or writing my book, and I'm writing actually some other books as well. So
nice. Yeah, New Orleans is like the town that never sleeps, right?
That is correct.
So now, I just have to ask this because you are a native of New Orleans. What's your favorite spot? What's that go-to spot for you?
Ooh, I have a lot of go-to spots, but unlike the tourists, bourbon is not the go-to spot. So I'd probably say the Treme area, the Healing Center. We have an area that's actually not in the Healing. That's not in the Treme. That's actually in the Marigny. It's the Healing Center. They usually have a lot of events. I can't think of it right. Cafe Istanbul. They have a lot of events that go on at that spot. So I usually go there sometimes.
Okay. So guys, you heard it. Don't go to the tourist spots. Go to where the people that live there go to get the real richness of the town, right?
Yes, definitely.
So I am so excited to talk about this book. Number one, I know people are curious about the title. So you definitely got to tell us about this title, where it came from, how it became the title of the book. And then we're going to talk about some of the people in it. But first, tell us about this title.
So for me, the title was a play on witch hunt. So back I think it was the 1800s. I'm not good with dates, but in Salem, they hunted people that they believed to be witches. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a play on words because of the fact that these were Black females. So replacing the W with the B and bitch hunt. So that's how bitch hunt came about.
Okay. So this book is now available on Amazon.
Yes, it is. So and Barnes and Nobles and a couple other places as well. So not just Amazon. It's pretty much supposed to be available everywhere.
Okay, and we're going to put that in the comments so that you guys know where the book is available. So it's available on Amazon's, Barnes and Nobles, and several other bookstores. And it's also going to be available on dreamspirebooks.com. So you can definitely come to the book site and get her book there. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, you really want to come back because now we're going to talk about the book. And I've had an opportunity to read an excerpt. I've talked to Taetrece about it. So you definitely do not want to miss this. So come right back and we'll be here. for joining us again. I am so excited because I have with me Taetrece Harrison, who is the author of Bitch Hunt. And now we're going to talk about the book because I'm curious and I know you're curious. So tell us, where did this book come from? Where did these stories come from?
The story actually originates with me. I'm chapter 1 in the book, and then there's 4 other women that are also Black female attorneys that's in the book. So my story came about because I got arrested about 3 years ago. You'll learn, and I don't want to get too many details because you need to get the book, but basically I was falsely accused of pointing a firearm at someone. And so I take you through the whole steps of what happened, how this person and I, the exchange between he and I, this stranger, he was an absolute stranger, and then the process of what happens when I actually had to go to trial, the fact that I was facing 10 years in jail, and then the whole entire process. So I actually take you through the trial and what's going on through the trial, and then what I'm thinking up to the trial. So that's what the story is. And so what it is, it's about Black female attorneys. Like I said, some of them are judges, but it's talking about how they're attacked because of who they are or who people perceive them to be, and then how they navigate through each one of those situations, because each one of us, of course, navigate through the situation totally different.
You know, it's interesting because you think that if you are in the justice system and you are advocates for those that are, you know, in need of justice, but yet you are facing your own battles on how to actually help individuals, because you have your own battles that you're dealing with every day.
Correct. It was a little unnerving, and I think I wrote this in the book, about walking into the criminal court here in New Orleans and seeing my name on the docket, you know, as opposed to me coming in and representing someone else. So it was an interesting journey that I went through, but it brought me to this point right here that I was able to write the book and to be able to share that with everybody else. You know, just because you're an attorney, it doesn't necessarily mean you're untouchable, but it also talks about the level of racism that still is prevalent, colorism, which is within our community, Black community, but then also the racism itself. So it's the dynamics of both layers, and being able to guide everyone through that process, and know, even as an attorney, I still face that every day.
I think that's so interesting for individuals, because you don't think that way. You know, you think, okay, well, she's on the inside, right? So her life should be a lot simpler because she's the one that knows the ins and the outs and the people. And apparently that it just doesn't matter.
No, it does not matter. I think we talked about it last week, where I had just gotten back from court, and I went through, it was in an outside parish, St. Charles Parish, which is outside of New Orleans. And New Orleans is very different. There's New Orleans, and then there's the rest of Louisiana. And so when I went to that parish, you know, I always know that I'm going to have to show my bar card. And even while showing my bar card, which is the attorney's bar card that shows that you are an attorney, even when I show that, I still get asked, "Are you an attorney?" And I just find that question to be so stupid. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm showing you the card, it has my picture on it, it has my information on it, I still get asked the question, "Are you an attorney?" So.
Yeah. And it's got to be a little disheartening too, because I mean, the years that you've spent to practice this, you know, this vocation that you have, and then to constantly be asked that question.
It is, and it's just a peek as to, you know, why Black Lives Matter, and to why that is so prevalent right now. It's a peek into what we as Black people still always have to go through. We know that we always have to have documents. We always have to have proper information, because we know that we're going to get stopped. We know that we're going to get asked. And that's why this book is coming out at such a great time. And it highlights exactly the issues, even as a professional, even as someone that has 4 degrees, how I'm still, you know, basically seen as a Black female.
You know what's so interesting about this is that now everybody is talking about when to have the talk.
Yes.
You know, the talk with your young sons or your young daughters when they're going out, and what's the appropriate age to have that conversation. And I think what you're talking about is a great example when you're having that talk to say even individuals that are within the system still, receive those pressures from the systemic racism that exists even
Yes.
within the system.
Yes, and again, you're talking about women that were judges or are currently a judge, and how they basically were attacked just because of the fact that somebody didn't like, oh, I think they're doing too much, so let me stop them. Or I think they think they're too much. Let me stop them. Let me say this about them. And then the thing is, a lot of these situations where people are saying things about them, and I mean, and it's totally inappropriate, but no one stands up to say this is wrong. Don't do that. So that's another thing that I highlighted in the book, and that's why I wanted to highlight these stories. And that was one of the portion in the book that I talk about the fact that I had to stand up and say something in regards to my situation, because I wasn't going to just allow this bully, the DA, the person that made this lie on me. I was not going to allow these people to sit here and just say whatever, because I owed a duty to myself, but I owed a duty to other Black females and other women just in general, professionals or otherwise, that you need to stand up when somebody's coming at you and saying things that are not true, and not just lay over and take it.
I think that's a great message. That is a great message coming from a professional female. It's a great message because sometimes we do kind of, you sink down in your seat and you kind of let things slide, as they say. And then I think when you let one thing slide, then it's easier to let the second, the third, the fourth thing slide. And now you're just, numb to it.
Exactly. Well, there was one part in the book just to talk about where they offered me something like a misdemeanor, because I was basically facing a felony, of course, with 10 years. Mm-hmm. And some other attorneys were like, oh, I would have took it. I don't know if I would have, chance going to, to trial. And I said, I always stand in my truth. So there was no way for me to accept a misdemeanor would mean to say that I was pleading guilty. Well, I wasn't going to plead guilty. And so that to me was the crazy thing, that other people were so afraid and was like, I can't believe you did that. They were like, Taetrece, you're a beast. You're this. And I was like, no, I know that I'm going to stand up for myself. Even if I'm going to stand alone, I'm always going to stand up for myself.
And that's what's important. That is truly what's important. Guys, listen, exactly. You heard it here from Taetrece Harrison about bitch hunt and the stigmatism that goes in with even being within the law, even working within the law. There are still areas in people's consciousness where they still deem you to be less than. So you got to get this book. You truly have to get this book. And we're going to take one commercial. We're going to come back, and then we're going to talk about how you can connect with Taetrece, how you can get the book, which you see the cover, which is right here behind me. So this is what the cover looks like. So yes, we didn't make that name up. You see, that is truly the name of the book. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. So thank you for coming back and joining us. We are talking to Taetrece Harrison, the author of Bitch Hunt, and it is based on the life of lawyers and judges that are all female and their experiences within the law that you probably have no idea that these things are even happening. So you truly want to get the book. Taetrece, tell us, where can we contact you if we want to follow you? If you have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, how do we get in touch with you?
So I keep things simple. So it's my name, Taetrece Harrison. And if you put that in under Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you should be able to find me. And then my website is, again, my name, taetreceharrison.com. The book's on Amazon. You got Kindle. It should be available on Apple. And I know it's also on Barnes & Noble. So you should be able to find it anywhere. Just plug it in my name.
And I think if you go to Amazon and you put in the title of the book, there's probably only one.
Yes, there is only one Bitch Hunt that's on Amazon that I'm aware of.
So that's an easy find. You can definitely do that. Taetrece, I asked you a question, and if you had an opportunity to have dinner with any author, which one would you have dinner with and why?
Oh, most definitely it would be Maya Angelou. Although, she's passed on. It would have been a great opportunity to sit down with her. I just think that time when she did not speak for a long time and then she didn't have that voice, I would just love to know what was going on in her head, and to be able to pick her brain, to ask her how she was able to actually do that, because to be silent for such a long time is just mind-boggling for me, because I am a person that's always talking. So to be able to go silent, I mean, I do meditate, but I mean, that's 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know if I could be silent for that long period of time.
And she's such an eloquent speaker. It's like everything she says can resonate with you, regardless as to what stage you are in your life, regardless as to who you are as a person. There is something that she says, and I think that's a gift.
Yes.
It's that ability to be able to reach people, regardless as to where they are.
Exactly.
Well, I am excited because now you also have, not only can you just get the book, but you've got this entire package. So tell us what the package is.
So I'm offering some T-shirts, depending on what people. We're giving away T-shirts. It's kind of like on a random thing, and then I also have posters that are also going to be available, as well as bookmarks as well. So this is one of the bookmarks. So, and then it has the Bitch Hunt on it as well. So That's just kind of fun.
So you can get the entire package. You can get the Bitch Hunt package, the T-shirt, the book, the bookmarker, and you can definitely follow Taetrece. It's really simple: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Taetrece Harrison. And make sure you spell it right. You see how it's spelled there, because it's not spelled the way you might spell it. So make sure you actually spell it correctly. And we're going to enjoy a reading from Taetrece from Bitch Hunt. So definitely join us on dreamspirebooks.com, where you have an opportunity to hear the selection that she is going to read from. So you can get an insight as to what the book is about. I guarantee you're going to want to read more. So you're definitely going to want to hear the reading, and you are definitely going to want to get the book. So, Taetrece, what's the final message? If there is a message that you want to give to readers, what's your message?
My message is what I said earlier. I always stand in my truth, and I think that everyone should stand in their truth. And you have to be prepared to stand in your truth by yourself, because sometimes you may have to, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, you know who you are. And it doesn't matter really if anyone else doesn't know. You don't have to worry about trying to convince anyone else. As long as you know you're in your truth, then that's all that matters.
There you go. Thank you so much. Taetrece Harrison, author of Bitch Hunt. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Author's Lounge. I am always excited when we get to bring to you an author that shares their inspiration, their motivation, their experiences behind the book. And you actually get the book, and then you can write a review. Love reviews. How do you feel about reviews?
I mean, I think reviews are great. I mean, a lot of authors are kind of fickle about those because of the fact that, they don't want a bad review. And for me, it's not necessarily a bad review. It just means that the book didn't resonate with the person. And I mean, and that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of books out there. And so you're not going to please everyone,
Exactly. And what I think about reviews and other authors that I've spoken to is that it gives you an opportunity to know your audience better. It gives you an opportunity to kind of know, what people are looking for. And to your point, everything is not going to resonate in a manner that you had intended it to. And that's okay. Yeah. Because there are a lot of people out there that will resonate with it, and others that will that will like it. And so writing a review gives an author an opportunity to kind of see where you are. So definitely get the book, write a review, and definitely join us on the Authors Lounge, where we chat with authors from around the globe. So have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining us.